Elise, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You say hi to my guys.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Buddy, good to see you. How you been?
Northern and upstate New York, I'm so proud to be on the same ticket with Rob and Steve Stallmer. He will stand up for our constitutional liberties. He is fighting on behalf of our Second Amendment rights. My family, I come from a small business family, and we understand that we need a new direction in New York State, so I'm really excited to have Rob here today. He spent a lot of time in upstate, and that's what we need to make change in Albany.
Thank you, Elise. Steve, why don't you?
Oh yeah, sure. I would love to say that I've been knocking on a lot of doors in the area lately, and the first thing everybody talks about is jobs and taxes.
Yep.
And I've been really impressed with Rob's plan for how to create economic growth. We have a bold tax plan to cut the taxes to help create more jobs in this area. The emphasis on small business owners. We've toured. I've been touring businesses and farms in Washington County now for the last 2 months, and every small business says the same thing. It's regulations. Yep. And I have some ideas on that I would love to partner with Rob on. Ideally, if we're both successful in a couple of weeks, which I think we will be. It's the right message.
Yep.
And we just got to get everybody to turn out. So thank you for everybody who came today. And great audience. And we're going to go see some more in about a half hour or so and get more people involved.
So, what question? Do you guys have any questions?
Hey, Rob, just a question about the campaign. We saw the governor going to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and I guess he's going to have Biden in town tomorrow.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that? I mean, he just seems to be ignoring you.
Overcoming going to the Caribbean. I mean, he spent more time in the Caribbean than he has on Long Island. He was, while he's in the presidential palace in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, I was in the South Bronx, hablando español con los puertorriqueños y dominicanos. And, I don't need a map to tell me where the South Bronx is or Upper Manhattan is in Washington Heights. And so I'm spending my time, as I have the whole campaign in the last 5 years as county executive too, talking to our Hispanic community and our African American community and a lot of the communities that have been left behind. And the governor would rather be in the presidential palace in the Dominican Republic than talking to Dominicans in New York. And I'll stay in New York.
The governor has made a big point of promoting economic successes as he sees them. He's gotten that Tax Foundation award.
What's the award? Boy, it must be a low, bar to get an award from going from 50th to 48th. And if that's what we're taking a victory lap for going 2 spots from dead last to second, to last basically, that's not what this state needs. The governor should be embarrassed in 4 years after all his promises to move 2 slots from 50th to 48th, and he thinks that's what is going to help the economy in New York. I mean, it's a joke. We are in the bottom rankings in everything in America, and this governor thinks it's a great thing. And
Except one, Rob, migration of people leaving the state.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what we're leading in.
That's exactly right. And more people are going to leave this state, and more businesses are going to close, and more seniors are going to leave, because going from 50th to 48th and thinking you deserve an award for that is exactly what's wrong with this governor. This state is on a losing path, and we got to radically change it, and we got to really boldly move forward, like the Wall Street Journal said that our tax plan would do. It would lift the economy of New York and get people back to work and get people to stay in New York.
The governor, I actually asked him about the tax plan. The governor, noted that back in 2011, at the end of that year, they were able to cut across the board taxes, income taxes. What was your response to that?
Who thinks taxes are going down in New York? Taxes are continuing to go up. This governor broke his promises, raised taxes. Again, we're dead last in America. Where does he think we are? There's a difference between Cuomo's world and the world of New York that we live in. The average person is getting pummeled with taxes, cannot afford to live in this state anymore. Businesses are closing. People are moving. That's the reality of New York right now, other than the very privileged few, the well-connected, that write $50,000 checks to this governor and get a little break in their taxes from him. Other than that, most people are struggling. They're having to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs to be able to stay in their home. And that's the reality of New York right now. It's not what Governor Cuomo thinks it is. He's on another planet.
What are you doing to prepare for the, I guess, the only debate, right? That's coming up.
I don't need a lot of preparation. I know what's happening in this state. I've been around this state to all 62 counties. I've talked to many people, thousands and thousands of average New Yorkers who are struggling. I'm telling them what my vision is to get us better as a state. And, this governor's got some explaining to do of why he's under federal investigation for corruption, why we're losing as a state very badly, losing our own citizens, why we have the highest taxes, and why he's putting the dirtiest, nastiest, most misleading and false advertising on TV about me. So he's got some explaining to do.
Do you think you'll bring up the Moreland Commission in that debate? I mean, like, what's your? I mean, not
What
to
are the
give away
odds
too
of
much-
that?
Not to give away too much of your strategy, but what do you hope to get across when you face the governor on Wednesday?
He's going to have to be challenged. And I'll let them go soon. The governor's going to be challenged for the first time. And unfortunately, it's not a one-on-one debate because he's a coward. He's afraid of debating me one-on-one because he'd have to defend the indefensible. But, he set it up this way so all 4 candidates would be on stage, and he's got to just figure out how he can get off stage in 12 minutes of speaking. That's all he wants to do. He does not want to talk to the people of this state. He doesn't want to look them in the eye. He'd rather be in the Caribbean than actually being in New York. And, he's got no vision for a second term. He's under investigation. He's got a criminal defense team. So I understand why he doesn't want to speak to the people of this state, but he has a responsibility to do so.
There's talk about people who would support Zephyr Teachout in the Democratic primary. They're going to look to support Howie Hawkins now. Do you think that he siphons votes away from you, or do you think that you can pick up on the Teachout supporters in general?
Well, I think realistically there's only one of 2 people who are going to win. It's either going to be Andrew Cuomo or me. I respect Howie Hawkins very much, just like I respected Zephyr Teachout very much. That's why I debated her. And the governor wouldn't give her the time of day, wouldn't even shake her hand. And he paid the price for that. 40% voted against him in the primary, but they voted against him because he lied to them, he is corrupt, and people came out and voted against a corrupt governor, and that was his own party. And this state is doing bad economically. That's another reason why they voted against him. So I asked for all of Zephyr Teachout's voters to vote for me, because we stood together for the most important thing. We agreed, even though we disagree on many things, we agreed on the most important fundamental aspect, that this state needs to be honest again, that our leaders need to be honest again, and the corruption cannot stand. Because the corruption means we've got an unlevel playing field. It means the very privileged few and the very well-connected that give very generously to this governor, they're the ones getting the breaks. Everyone else is getting screwed, and this state is paying the price for it. And we've got to have honesty and integrity back in our state government. Otherwise, the very core of who we are and what we stand for and as a state is just crumbling. So I want her voters, and she was against Common Core too, just like I am. And realistically speaking, Howie Hawkins could do well, but he's not going to win the race. And I think he would admit that probably. But it's going to be between Andrew Cuomo and I. And if people want to get rid of Common Core, then I'm the outlet for that, because I'm running on a Stop Common Core ballot line. That it?
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. You have now 2 more minutes before the store closes. Thank you again.